Cheers.
Cheers. That's so much easier than having it neat. I love that. And that journey was supposed to be about mind and body and me pushing my limits, and it ended up about something entirely different.
Welcome to Nc'nean's Whisky Six Social. I am delighted this week to be joined by Ness Knight, an explorer and conservationist. The theme for these chats is all about not following the rules and the spirit of doing things differently, something that Ness embodies in abundance. Welcome, Ness. It's lovely to have you here in person, even if from a bit of a distance.
Yeah, we're doing it safely, and I'm quite excited about what's in front of us here.
Exactly.
Exploring a bit. Thanks for having me.
That's a pleasure. Before we get on to whiskey, tell me a little bit about, in broad terms, what theme brings all of your expeditions and explorations together?
Well, I guess if I really look back quite honestly, I am a bit of an accidental explorer and adventurer. I used to work down the road in London actually many years ago, and I used to teach entrepreneurship. And for many, many, many years, I was sitting there teaching other people how to make their dream come true, their own personal passion, and take that and create a business out of it. And after a while, I just thought, hang on a second, I'm just sitting here telling other people how to do the thing that I always wanted to do, and I'm not doing it. So I think when it comes to exploration, most of us in that field will say to you that it's probably two things. One is being a bit mad and bonkers and a bit insane. I think we've got a few screws loose, and I don't really know how to explain that side of myself. But the other thing really is to almost in a way serve people outside of yourself and go beyond. It becomes about a bigger picture of the planet and people rather than just yourself. And I think that's become the theme for really the rest of my life is in anything that I do, whether it's survival or exploration or conservation, is that if you go out and try and think outside of the box and do stuff a little bit differently, you end up in a space where you start affecting change for people in the circle that you've been amongst. And it's easy to forget that that ripple effect doesn't stop there.
Well, on that note, sustainability in our own very small way is very important to what we're trying to do at Nc'nean and in how we make the whiskey, all the way from the beginning of the supply chain, buying organic barley, through to the renewable energy that we use at the distillery, all the way to our recycled bottle. But shall we have a whiskey?
Yes, please. I've been dying for this part.
So, part of what these chats is all about is the whiskey and soda serve that we're calling the Whisky Six.
Okay.
It's a very simple serve, 2 parts whiskey, 4 parts soda, hence Whisky Six. It's a wonderful way, I think, of having a long and refreshing drink with whiskey, but really with the flavours shining through. So let's give it a go.
I'm a big fan of whiskey.
Oh yes.
Very big fan of whiskey.
How do you normally drink it?
So my brother is the one that introduced me to whiskey many years ago. He's he just loves it. He's got shelves and shelves and shelves and shelves at home and drives his wife nuts with the fact that he's constantly buying them. But he has always given it to me in the very classic way of just neat. And he'll go and he'll make me taste it and then put a little droplet in of water and then have that. And I almost feel, I don't know, have I done something wrong if I put too much or too little, or how am I doing it? What's the right way? Are you allowed to put ice? Are you not? And I'm quite overwhelmed with the whole conversation about how to do whiskey properly.
Wow.
So I'm over the moon that there's a way that I can just get my soda and some mint and do it in a completely different way.
And I think there has been a perception, especially in Scotch, that you mustn't do anything to it. It's sacred. But we don't really agree with that. Yes, of course, if you want to drink it neat, definitely. But there are also amazing other ways to drink it that's not just drowning it in Coca-Cola, which is probably a step too far. But we just think this is really delicious and refreshing, and it's long and savoury and wonderful. So there you are.
Oh, exciting.
Cheers.
Cheers. Oh, that smells gorgeous. Oh yeah, that's really nice. That's so much easier than having it neat. I love that.
And it's also more of a kind of any time of day. The other part of the thinking behind Whisky Six is 6 p.m. Perfect instead of a gin and tonic.
Because funnily enough, the only time I've ever allowed myself to really have a whiskey is after dinner, when you feel like that's when you should have it.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly. Well, there's a lot of these shoulds in the whiskey world, which, you know, come from, you know, 40 years ago, and no one's actually ever said, well, maybe you could drink it another time as well.
Yeah, completely. No, that's lovely. I like the mint as well.
So I'm guessing you don't get ice and lovely glassware when you're on your expeditions, but
No, hang on, I'm just going to stay with this because it's true. I don't normally have this kind of setup.
what do you get to take any little luxuries with you, or is it more just what you find on the way?
Yes, I do definitely take luxuries with me. Funnily enough, whiskey is one of them. Well, the first thing that I always take is nail clippers.
Yep.
Because you do not want to be out there for months and months on end without nail clippers. So if anyone's planning a little journey,
Noted. Don't forget the nail clippers.
Nail clippers. Knifing it is just not. It's not okay. And yeah, one of my favourite things of all time through all of my expeditions has been a little hip flask, and it's actually one that's been in my family for I think it's nearly a couple of 100 years. So my mum always freaks out when I take it with me. She's like, please don't damage it, don't destroy it, don't drop it in the river. But I take that with me, and yeah, just put a little bit of whiskey with that, and there's nothing better than you've set up your camp, you've worked so hard, blood, sweat and tears during the day, and you're finally set up and sitting underneath beautiful stars, listening to the wildlife around you, lions roaring, or, you know, in the jungle, and you're listening to howler monkeys and the calls of jaguar, and you know, it's just incredible. And just having a little toot, a little sip of whiskey, you know, there's nothing better.
Sounds wonderful.
Yeah. It is. You should do it more.
Exactly. Thank you so much for joining us today, Ness. It's been such an inspiring conversation about doing things differently and thinking about the world in a different way.
Thanks for having me.
If you want to follow Ness on her adventures, she's on Instagram at Ness_Knight. Cheers.